What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Goona Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it's to do the player ratings for the Arsenal versus Sporting Lisbon game. Now, I'm not going to waste too much time about it because if you want to see me rant and go in on a couple of players, you should watch my review. You still can. Go and watch that, check out that review to see who my criticism is reserved for. For those of you who've already watched my review, these player ratings should be of no surprise. I can't pretend like you guys are going to agree with every single mark. There'll be some marks that will flat out annoy people. However, as I always say, and if I have to repeat it, I'll say it again. For those of you who disagree, all you have to do is say, all right, I disagree, but here are my player ratings. And put it down below. I actually like, for those people who put player ratings, I actually am curious to see how they saw the game. You know, funny enough, just on that point, it was those sort of people who actually made me realise that actually my marks for Leno against, who is it we played recently? Liverpool, was too generous. And I actually changed my own player ratings based on how people saw that game. So it does make me rethink things sometimes. So anyway, nevertheless, here are my player ratings for yesterday's game. I thought Mkhitaryan didn't have a lot to do, to be honest. I thought it was a very dominant performance. It was not a time where I was worried that they would score. I thought Mkhitaryan dealt with everything he should have dealt with. Yeah, I wouldn't even necessarily say it was a particularly good performance, but it was only because they didn't really threaten us. He didn't have a lot to do. So for that reason, I'll give him a 6. Not because it was poor. He just didn't have much to do. So 6 out of 10. Let's start with our right back. Now, when I initially saw the starting lineup, Carl Jenkinson was right back. But I'm going to judge it by how the game actually turned out. And that was Lichtsteiner, who played right back. Yeah. Do you know everything I initially worried about when we made this signing? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch one of my videos where I talk about the Lichtsteiner signing. And, yeah, I was a little bit apprehensive for this type of reason. I ain't gonna lie, I was worried. I was worried about the fact that Lisbon have some mobile players and it could expose Lichtsteiner. I must be honest, I think other people will rate Lichtsteiner higher than I did yesterday. He just looked a level slower than everybody on that pitch. He really did. I suspect that what Lichtsteiner will be used for next year is more of a coach capacity. He's a very experienced player. I could see him being a player, an emergency player, stroke coach capacity. And I'm all for that because I think his experience will be valuable. As a player, though, he ain't that. I'd almost rather play Ainsley Maitland-Niles there. At least he's had some experience as a wing back. And he's right-footed. He's more mobile than flipping Lichtsteiner, that's for sure. It weren't good, man. 5 out of 10. But he weren't the worst player on the pitch. I'll come to that. Defenders. I thought Rob Holding was great. Didn't have that much to do, but when he was called upon, I thought he dealt with it pretty comfortably. 7 out of 10. No issues. Lichtsteiner, same thing. For Lichtsteiner, I think his main aim is to try and get back into the team. I don't think that these guys did anything overly great, but that's only because they weren't really that troubled. The game was a really frustrating, boring game to watch because we had all the possession and control of the game, just didn't do shit with it. But it's no fault of the defenders. They did what they were supposed to do. So for me, Lichtsteiner, 7 out of 10. Carl Jenkinson. Now, I talked about Lichtsteiner being a level slower than everybody else on that pitch. To me, Carl Jenkinson is a quality below everybody on that pitch yesterday. But fair play to him. He's playing out of position. He hasn't had a lot of football. And you can tell this guy is a genuine fan of the club. Because the man's just doesn't care how little football he gets, where the coach asks him to play, he does a job. And you know what? He did a job yesterday. You know, did he do it particularly well? Not in my opinion. But here's the thing. He weren't the worst player on the pitch. So for that reason, I give him a 5 out of 10. Now let's start to get interesting. Guendouzi, I thought, had a good game. Nothing spectacular, but I thought he always looked to try and make something happen. Yeah. Kind of was what it was with Guendouzi. It's just, there wasn't anything overly spectacular about anything. Yeah, he didn't do anything particularly wrong. He was asked to play a DM role. I think against a team like this at home, where you're not going to have a lot of pressure, you could probably afford to do it. I'm saying that, I mean, they did suddenly turn into Portuguese Stoke. They were kicking the shit out of us off the pitch. But not in a way of, I'm going to press you into a mistake way. More of a kind of, every time you come near me, I'm just going to kick the shit out of you, which is basically what happened and how it transpired. But I thought he did well. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. His teammate Aaron Ramsey, I'll come back to. I need a run-up for that one. Smith Rowe, I thought Smith Rowe was okay. His passes did go a bit astray sometimes, and they were a little annoying. And I did find, particularly in the first half, I felt like he kept slowing the game down a little bit. And then towards the end of the first half, his confidence started to grow, and you could see him come out of his shell a little bit more. For me, I think experience is the key for him. I don't think he's a winger. I don't think he's a number 10. I do think he's a number 8. The number 8 role is the one position he's played where he's looked completely natural to me. There was that game that he played as a number 8, I think it was against Blackpool, which I watched live at the Emirates. He just looked so in control, so calm in possession. Whereas I think in an attacking position, he's almost forced to think quickly. And I don't necessarily think that's his forte. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say he's Granit Xhaka, but I just think, I think in future, a number 8 position, an Aaron Ramsey type of position is destined for this kid. And I think that that's what's going to happen. For me, though, I'll give him a 6. Not because he did anything bad. I just didn't think he did anything that well. Again, people, if you disagree, let me know why. Henrik Mkhitaryan. Gosh. Yeah. Although he wasn't the worst player on the pitch, and let me tell you why he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Because he at least kept getting himself into that position, trying a variety of different things. They just weren't coming off. They weren't. He has suddenly taken whatever Alex Iwobi took last year. it's like they completely swapped roles. Not that Henrik Mkhitaryan was as good as Alex Iwobi has been this season, but to me, I've said it all along. I've not been that impressed since he came. I'm sorry for all the. To me, I think we're better off in the Alexis deal, not because we have Henrik Mkhitaryan, but because we have Aubameyang, who had nothing to do with the deal. Because we have Lacazette, who had nothing to do with the deal. Not because Mkhitaryan is the better player out of him and Sanchez. To me, I'm not impressed. I'm more or less done with Mkhitaryan. He's just one of 2 players who I believe has completely and utterly regressed since Emre's come in. And what I find interesting to me is he seems to regress every time a coach demands more from him. That's not a good sign. He did the same thing with Jose. He's doing the same thing with Emre. he needs a coach, an Arsene Wenger, who will just allow him, who will basically just say to him, just do what you're doing, do what you want to do. I'll give you a complete and utter free roll. And when even the likes of Ozil is starting to pull up their socks, mate, you have no reason not to. So for that reason, I give you a 4 out of 10. You still weren't the worst player on the pitch. Alex Iwobi, I didn't think it was a good game from him yesterday. I have to be real. I have to be real. He was trying. He was plugging away. You could see he was interchanging a lot with Mkhitaryan. And then he was going on the left. And then he started the second half on the right. And he was trying, but bless him, nothing was coming off. It was just a bad day in the office for all concerned. I thought he was doing better when Welbeck was on the pitch. I thought he was combining well with Welbeck, and then once Welbeck went off, I just think it just went to shit. For me, I'll give Alex Iwobi a 5. Honestly, I'll be real, I didn't think it was that good. I'm not just going to mark people because they're my countrymen. I think it was a 5. And then up front, Mr. Welbeck, who I feel so sorry for. So sorry for. I hope he recovers and recovers well. I think with Welbeck, he was actually our most dangerous player. Just sod's law. He was the one causing problems, his runs. They could not pick this motherfucker up. That was what was really apparent in that first half. And the irony of his injury is it came off the back of Welbeck again, getting himself at the end of a cross. And I don't know if he landed wrong. I don't know if it was a tackle. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't really wanted to watch it again, which is why I can't recall it. But to me, that's probably the last game we see of him in an Arsenal shirt. And it's such a shame. I want to give Welbeck a 6, because I honestly thought he was causing problems up until he got taken off. In terms of the substitutes, Aubameyang, I thought, had a shit day at the office. Grazed the crossbar once, had a couple of occasions where he perhaps should have done better. But overall, I wasn't that impressed. I think it'd be harsh to give him a 5. I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. Who else came on? Let me find out. And then we had Ainsley come on. Of course, our two fullbacks got taken off. It was a bit of a heartbreaking one for Eddie, actually, because Emre told him to warm up. It was so horrible to watch. Emre told him to warm up, and I thought finally Eddie's about to make his first appearance of the season. So he was warming up. My man was stripping off, about to come down. All of a sudden, Lichtsteiner's playing left back, and he's running after the ball, and just suddenly pulls up. Clearly a hamstring, and you knew from that moment onwards that Eddie ain't coming on. Instead, Ainsley Maitland-Niles came on, and I thought did all right. I thought he did okay. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. And then as for the other fullback, Kolasinac then came on. And in fact, he did that before Ainsley made his swap. And I thought Kolasinac did all right as well. Give him a 5. And as for Emre, well, this was the one time his halftime talk did not work. I've heard all the theories that I think the team was shocked by Danny Welbeck's injury, and maybe there's some merit in that, but I still feel like we should have won this game. We never really got out of first gear, and it showed. And the boss has to take responsibility for that. I think people are starting to get a little bit anxious because we've had a couple of draws now. But I still have faith. I'll give Emery a 6 out of 10. Anyway, guys, you let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, crush, destroy, drop kick the shit out of that like button. I appreciate every time you guys do that. I'll be back tomorrow to do a preview of the Wolves game. And then I'll be back Sunday evening to do a review of the Wolves game where I'm going to hope to have a couple of people on. I've been talking to a couple of people about coming onto my show as recently as Tuesday. So I'm going to try and make that happen. I'm also going to see if Turkish can come on the show. The last time I went to the Emirates, me and him were talking. Weirdly, we found out we went to the same secondary school, which is kind of weird. Like, hold up, we went to the same secondary school. And then we realised there's like a 2-year gap, so I must have seen him at some point in this school. So it's so weird. But yeah, so I'm going to see if my people there, Turkish, would like to come on the show and go from there. So keep an eye out on that. Until then, I'm out of here, people. Take care. Deuces. You thought I was done, didn't you? I completely forgot, the truth be told. And that's Aaron Ramsey. To me, and here's what I'm going to make an explanation for why I'm marking this mark, because I know a lot of people are going to shit on it. For me, I think when you take into the fact the performance yesterday, the fact that he's 27 years old, the fact that he's been with us for 10 years, the fact that all I keep being told about, or even on this show, is that he's this legend. And that, you know, he's a player who, you know, is a professional. You know, to me, he has down tools. He does not give a shit. You know, this is, and I cope with this all the time in my business. He, for me, is like somebody who, you know, when you're leaving an organization and you're working your notice, he's acting like that. To me, he's acting like someone who is working their notice. You know, when you're just phoning it in and you could not care less. That's the way he's acting at the moment. And to me, if he doesn't care less, why should I? 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. I thought his performance was disgraceful yesterday. He should have led from the front. Even in departure, he should lead from the front. You're going to earn a move to a top team playing like this? Really? Please. As Lee said, at the moment, your level is West Ham. And even West Ham, on the basis of yesterday, thinking, oh, I don't know about this guy. Might as well stick with Mark Noble. So, yeah, to me, disgraceful. 1 out of 10. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments down below. If you like this video, crush, destroy, drop, hit the shit out of that like button. And if you're listening to me for the first time, hit that subscribe button. All right, deuces.